guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Now in today's video, I'm going to share the 5 champions that I use the most, where I use them, basically going over kind of my main dungeon teams, my main arena team, my main clan boss team, kind of checking in on my account with you guys, and then I'm talking about how I built up those 5 champions in today's video. So again, before this video, I kind of went through all my teams, checked them out, and was like, okay, who do I actually use the most on my account in my main teams? Now, quick kind of checkpoint before we get into it here is that I had a change in philosophy, I guess, on my account about 4 or 5 months ago, where at first I was just so preoccupied with, okay, how fast can my teams get? Pushing that time lower and lower and lower in every dungeon. And then I kind of realized to myself, who cares? I'm not farming 24 hours a day, so why the hell do I care if my team is 47 seconds in Ice Golem versus a minute in 10 seconds, a minute in 2 minutes? It doesn't really matter how fast I'm going through these dungeons. It really doesn't. To an extent, obviously, if I have a 6-minute or an 8-minute time, you want to push that down to around the 2-minute, 3-minute mark. But really, if I'm farming overnight on my auto battles, then who really cares? I'm not sure. I spend money in this game, of course. I mean, look at my account, but at the same time, I'm not one of those people who's just farming around the clock all day, every day. So anyway, with that said, I've moved to kind of preferring teams, even if they're, they're all legendary, whatever, even if they're not free-to-play friendly, they're teams that can have a 100% success rate. Because even if I'm losing, if I have a 1-minute team that's losing 10% of the matches, what's the point? I'm just wasting energy. So just wanted to kind of provide that caveat, I guess, before we got into it. So this is my Ice Golem team here, guys. I have really 4 of the 5 champions that I use the most on this team. I'll talk about how I built them up in a bit here, but I just want to kind of go through the dungeons first. So this is the Ice Golem team, really, really solid. Love this team. The next one is Fire Knight. My main Fire Knight team actually has 2 Coldhearts in it, Stag Knight as my debuffer, Scylla the Drakes and Lysandra for turn meter support and control. And then I have my main Spiders team. You can already see some repetitiveness as I get to these champions, right? This is my Spiders team. You can see, again, some familiar faces here. And keep in mind, I have a lot of champions, I've been playing for over a year now, and I've been spending, like I said, spend money on the game, but I'm still using the same familiar faces on my kind of end tier dungeon teams. So here's my Dragons 20 team. In the arena, a little bit different. Well, let me show you clan boss first. My clan boss team is, I have a different team you can see right here. This is my unkillable team right now, so, that's kind of niche, I guess. The second one down, you guys can see. And then for my arena team, I am using, in Classic Arena, I am using this team right here with both of the dwarves, Trunda and Molly, as well as Saris for the debuffer stripper, and for Arbiter for my speed boost. So these are kind of the teams that I'm using. In terms of my 3v3, just to show you my tag team here, I guess I don't have any tokens, so I can't go into a match, but I can look on my defense. So team 1, this is pretty much the same teams that I use for offense too. For Tag Team Arena, what I'm doing is actually putting my weakest team first, or my second weakest team first. That way I can get people kind of overconfident, because a lot of people, I feel like, use their strongest team as their first team, and they don't kind of make any alterations or adjustments. So I use one of my weaker teams. Not that this team is super weak, but the gear, the artifacts aren't the best on these champions. So I use this as my main team, and then I try to bait them into using my better teams second and third, and usually that works out for me, getting the victories on my second and third battle on defense and not on my first. I don't want to get too much into the weeds here, but I use Basher, big fan of Basher, with Biggin, Ghostborn, and Lysandra on this team. This is the team that my main arena team is team number 2, and team number 3 I use Seeker and Kymar as speed or a lead and booster with Nethril and Krutraxa as my damage dealers and CC kind of with Nethril. On offense though, I'll put in Mountain King for Nethril, just kind of an adjustment there. So that is my tag team. Now let's talk about these champions, guys. So who do I use the most? I'm sure you guys can guess just by seeing that, and you can see I have a lot of champions here, but it's kind of crazy that I don't even use all of them that much, you know? It's kind of sad in a way. I wish there was more dungeons or something, more different clan bosses, I don't know. New content, right? Scylla the Drakes, she is the daily login reward, and I'm a big fan of her, guys. I have her in stun gear to add extra chances of landing that stun. Of course, stun gear is not based on accuracy, as every stun that's not from artifacts is based on accuracy, so just kind of take that into account. In terms of her skills, well, you guys kind of know, I'm not going to go into an in-depth guide on these champions, kind of more of how I built them up, but she does have the AoE stun 2-hitter, so 2 shots at a 20% each for the, actually, excuse me, each hit has a 35% each with the booked up on the 3-turn cooldown on the A2. And then I like her on my teams because if I do lose somebody, you'll see my Royal Guard, my Coldheart are very squishy. If I happen to have bad RNG and they die, she'll just pick them right back up with her Phoenix Right revival. I really like that. In terms of her masteries, I have her built out with Fearsome Presence because I want that extra 5% chance of landing the stun. It works from skills and artifacts, so it bumps my artifact chance up to 23%, and of course, whatever the percentage is on, I've already forgot on her skills. So I went defense and support tree. I also went with getting extra value out of her heals, and with Master Hexer, Evil Eye, and Sniper abilities on the support tree. So in terms of her overall stats here, guys, 215, a little bit low on the accuracy, but I wanted to get her to put out a little bit of damage as well, help me with the damage on my team. Not that she puts out a ton of damage, but I like my kind of support champions, if possible, to be putting out a little bit extra, adding a little bit extra to the table. So 4205 defense, her damage is based on defense. I love that. Makes her really robust and hardy champion to have as my support. 177 on the speed, 74 on the crit rate, you know, obviously ideally 100, but I do have crit damage, excuse me, gauntlets on her at 214, so a little bit of a trade-off there. So accuracy again, for level 20 dungeons, I could stand this to be a little bit higher, but still, I don't really get any resists. Very, very rare do I get a resist on a stun, okay? So that is how I have Scylla the Drake's built. Again, I have crit damage on the gauntlets, I have defense on the chest, and I have speed, of course, on the boots. Could upgrade these to 6-star as well. And then just going for crit rate where I can find it. You know, you can see the other stats on the artifacts here. Accuracy, of course, important on her as well. Crit rate, crit damage, and some speed. So that is Scylla the Drake. That's champion number 1, who I use the most. Dracomorph, the only other legendary that I have on this list of champions that I use the most in the game. Draco, I mean, I pulled him most recently out of these 5 champions, and he's just been a game changer for me. He's definitely the best champion in the game, at least for my account, you know. He's now my main debuffer, except for Fire Knight, which I still use Stag Knight. It used to be Stag Knight almost everywhere on my account, and now Dracomorph has kind of pushed him aside and upgraded because he has the weaken and the decreased defense on the 3-turn cooldown. And then I have Poisons, obviously great for Clan Boss, and then Seeping Pain does a ton of damage as well. Very effective in an Ice Golem as well, because if he kills one of the minions, he'll do, you know, several 100,000 damage onto the Ice Golem as kind of a chain effect. With the surplus damage is triple the main hit. So if I do 100,000 to one of the mobs, I'm doing 300k to the main Ice Golem. In terms of masteries on him, I went with War Master. Keep in mind, I do use him as my main damage dealer in Clan Boss as well, thanks to those poisons. And then the support tree, just getting that accuracy, getting the Lore of Steel on him as well, along with the Master Hexer. And artifacts on my Draco, I have, of course, crit damage on the amulet. I actually have accuracy on the banner, and then I have some speed, a couple speed sets on him. He is speed tuned, so I haven't like used any glyphs on any of his speed because I need him exactly at, let's just take a look at his total stats, at 212 for the Clan Boss Unkillable team with 2 Man-Eaters. I have his attack at close to 4,500, speed at 212, 94 crit rate, 224 crit damage, and 303 accuracy. Okay, let's see, crit damage again. I'm trying to get crit damage on all of my damage dealers gauntlets. Don't want to go crit rate. I'm clearly in the end game on my account, so really looking to kind of transition all my damage dealers from crit rate to crit damage on the gauntlets. I have attack percentage on the chest, and I have speed boots on my Draco. So then third in terms of champions I use the most, we have, where are ya? Miscreated Monster, of course, guys. He's my intro. He's my dude. I like Miscreated Monster. I love Miscreated Monster. He has kind of a hodgepodge of sets on him. Life, accuracy, and immortal. In terms of his skills, I use him for, you guys know, I mean, an amazing shield ability. His damage is based on HP. You want to take that into consideration. Need some accuracy to land those stuns as well. Masteries, I went with Fearsome Presence on him because I just want as high of a likelihood to land those stuns as possible. So I went Defense Tree for that reason. I also went Support Tree. I went with Lasting Gifts, helps out with his shields, and of course adding the Shield Bearer as well to his kit. I went with Lore of Steel, helps out with my set bonuses, and Master Hexer to increase the duration of. He places Fear as well on his passive, even though it won't actually increase that duration. But he does have in his kit a decreased defense on the A1. So hey, you know, I'll go with it. It can have a chance at extending that duration. Won't work with stun, won't work with fear. So that is how I have him built out masteries wise. And again, in terms of his overall stats on my Miscreated, 198 speed. I actually have crit rate gauntlets on him, and it's a little bit overkill. 117% on the crit rate, 115, very low on the crit damage. Accuracy 244. We need that accuracy to be, you know, 200 plus, as close to 250 for level 20 dungeons as possible. And then on his HP, 84,000. That's a lot of HP on Miscreated Monster because he does do damage based on it. And again, we went crit rate, I believe. Yep, accuracy set, crit rate, looking for as much accuracy as I can on substats along with speed and HP. And then we went HP, of course, on the chest, and speed again on the boots. So that is my Miscreated Monster, guys. Big fan. I also went with crit damage, just trying to give him a little bit of bump on the amulet, and I went with HP. I'm glad I actually went over here. I went HP on the banner, right? So able to get away with enough accuracy between the set, the Lore of Steel helping out just a little bit too, and just the substats, right? So where I was able to put him in HP banner instead. That's another thing you guys should kind of keep in mind. Try to work towards eventually on your champions. Champions that have damage based on defense, obviously defense, attack, or HP. It sometimes is beneficial, if you can, to get your accuracy somewhere other than the banner, and then use the banner as one of those stats other than accuracy. So that is Miscreated Monster. The fourth champion is Royal Guard. Royal Guard is in a daze set. What? What are you thinking, dude? Well, daze set, I just happen to have really good daze set gear, right? And I'm like, dude, I have all this like OP daze set, you know, crit, like look at this, legendary 6-star crit damage with accuracy, speed, defense, attack, basically one roll on everything. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna use this gear. I'm gonna use it. So I put it all in my Royal Guard. So he has a daze and a divine offense. Because of that, I don't need Lore of Steel on him for masteries. We went with Flawless Execution. I'm a big fan of having my damage based on enemy max HP champions, Coldheart and Royal Guard and Armiger. With Flawless Execution, I like having the extra 20% crit damage. In Support Tree, again, we bypassed Lore of Steel. We don't have any basic sets on him. We went with the Cycle of Magic, Sniper, Evil Eye, and Master Hexer. Let's go ahead and go to the artifacts on my Royal Guard. So again, just like really good stuff here. Granted, it is a daze set, which is, you know, kind of useless, but crit damage, attack percentage, speed with a lot of crit rate, just really good stuff on my Royal Guard. And his overall stats here, guys, is going to be 95% crit rate, 264 crit damage, debuff accuracy. I really just want a lot of damage out of my Royal Guard. Not too concerned with landing his debuffs on his A3. Hamstring, I believe. Hamspring? Is it hamstring? Is that the name of it? Anyway, 4720 is his total attack, so very high on the attack as well from my Royal Guard. Of course, on damage based on enemy max HP champions, having a huge attack, not mandatory. Actually, you want to really prioritize crit damage on these champions. So I could probably sacrifice actually some attack and just try to add more crit damage, try to get this to 300 plus on the crit damage. So maybe I will make those adjustments maybe in the future. So that is my Royal Guard. And then last but not least, I actually have 2 Coldhearts built on my account. Could probably get away with even building 3. They're both built differently though. So this is Coldheart number 1. Keep in mind, Coldheart's ability, the Heartseeker ability, has an extra 30% chance of inflicting a critical hit. Also, fully depletes the target's turn meter by 100%. So Coldheart is, of course, my 5th champion that I use the most on my account. And check out her just base stats, guys. 334% crit damage. Obviously, I prioritize crit damage, and I only have her crit rate at 66. That's actually 96% on her A3. Again, really concerned with getting her crit damage up as high as possible. I had to make the sacrifice of 66% crit rate, which doesn't affect the Heartseeker ability that much, 96% with the extra 30, but it does impact her A2, Art of Pain, which is actually pretty hard hitting. There's no extra 30% chance of landing a crit on that. So it is a little bit of a trade-off, but that's how I decided to have her built, and she's just a beast in terms of her total damage, putting out 1.5 to 1.7 million damage per hit on Spider 20, providing there is a defense down and a weaken on the Spider, okay? So her attack is 3185, pretty low, right? But again, that 334 crit damage just gives her insane damage capability. With 230, we need that accuracy to be as high as possible for the turn meter depletion. In terms of her gear, you guys can guess, again, crit damage. I had a triple roll crit damage there. I had another triple roll crit damage there. That's insane. I can actually get some glyphs on this as well. Attack percentage, accuracy, and attack. We can actually use all of that stuff. Let's see if I have anything. I'm going to go with a 6-star glyphs, guys. Keep those. Try to have the discipline to keep those for stats that you have triple roll. So if there was such thing as a crit damage glyph, I would use it on this artifact, right? And I'm gonna save my 6-star glyphs, even for flat stats, on artifacts that have triple rolls or quadruple rolls if you're lucky enough to ever get one of those. So again, crit damage, triple roll. She has my best crit damage gear on her on my entire account. Crit damage on the gauntlets. We have defense on the chest, and we have speed on the boots. Defense on the chest because she is so squishy, guys. And again, I talked about this. I'd rather have the crit damage set with some defense, crit rate, and crit damage on substats. This is a really good chest here for Coldheart because I can make that sacrifice on the attack percentage. It doesn't matter that much, the Heartseeker ability. However, it does matter, again, to the flurry of arrows and the Art of Pain. So that is my Coldheart in terms of masteries. We come all the way down to Flawless Execution again, and we go down to Master Hexer in Lore of Steel because she does have her, on her A2, she does have a decreased accuracy and poison there as well if the target is under heal reduction, so kind of whatever. So that is my Coldheart, guys. In terms of sets, I have speed, crit damage, and crit rate. Love these champions. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you want me to do videos like this where I kind of, every few months, I think I did one 4 or 5 months ago. I think all the champions were different except for maybe Coldheart. So let me know if you want me to continue doing this series as my teams and my champions kind of evolve on my account. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe here if you enjoyed the content, guys. I appreciate you. And as always, take care, guys.